DC here. Hi guys and gals. Well, it's Wednesday and I hope you're all well. It's going to be time for a little midweek lunch vlog. I was listening to a podcast this morning. Yeah, I listen to, as most of you know, to Christian podcasts most of the mornings when I walk to work. It was Chuck Swindoll, and he was talking about something. I won't get into the theological part of the podcast. But one thing that did come out is that, more and more people are trying not to offend others. And so, you end up with bland, tasteless messages. And he was talking basically in a churchy sense, if you want to put it that way, saying how, messages will not get into very often the gist of, maybe Christian teaching. But then I was thinking about, how is it in so-called the world life, And then I was thinking about my own situations and thinking like, okay, actually what he's saying, like for example, in my church is very much the case. But is it different elsewhere than church stuff? And I was thinking about work situations. How often is it like that if someone, you try and sugarcoat things sometimes, very often it's like that. And sugarcoating is not always for the best. If anything, it might give you a bellyache later on. I lived through a situation earlier this week. Oh, actually it was the end of last week, but anyway. Where a person, this has nothing to do with work though, but had to do with personal relationships, where a person didn't like basically being told something that, could have to do with their character. And it was a third-hand thing. When I mean a third-hand thing, it was a discussion that I had. That's, by the way, maybe a parenthesis to the whole thing. But it was a discussion that I had once with somebody and said, yeah, this person can have, at times, a rather difficult character. Now, I guess those two people had an argument, and it came out that, well, I suppose it was something, I could imagine it was something like this. Well, even Bernie said that. So I got a flaming text message about telling me all about how, I must be a person that has a PhD in psychology to be able to, and actually I was going on and saying like, what the heck? Because basically all I'd said is that, and this is real, all I'd said is that the person at times can have a strong character and doesn't want to, well, the word probably was stubborn that I used. And to be fair, I had told the person I was talking to, who probably had said that, that there's some truths to that person as well. And this was in, with the person number two, this was in what I would call a respectful relationship. A respectful relationship, and that's the difference, actually, I was going to say, with the people I was talking with, is person B, whoever that is, person B was able to take on something that you might say and reflect on themselves and say, yeah, that actually might be true. Or just simply say, I don't agree with you. But that doesn't stop the way that we will feel about each other. Person A, I know from experience, is completely incapable of things like that. The person A is always right. Well, anyway, I actually text off a message to the person A explaining slightly, I say slightly because I didn't get into great details, I don't want to go into a debate mode, what I meant. And then the person answered back, oh, well, I can see, of course, that person B did not understand correctly and was using this as a weapon against me. And I thought, you still don't get it. But anyway, why I was also bringing that on is, like sometimes we have topics that could be on, it might be tag videos, or topics that we bring which other people let's say on YouTube, now I'm talking about the YouTube community, might not agree with. Well, you know, I mean, like in anything, I've noticed on Facebook people get very mean and tend to block people out and call people names and so on. And we're not even talking about politics right now. It could be anything. But on other things, I've noticed that, like, on YouTube, usually if I would say something and other people that are in my closer circle might not agree with me, they'll say it, you know, or they'll give their own opinion. And over time, you feel like, well, maybe we've chosen a nice group of closer, I say, knit people that are mature enough to realize that, you know, if a person like myself, or if I look at somebody and I say, well, you know, there's about most of that person says I agree with, and actually I like to, even if I don't agree, I like hearing the way the person is thinking. It might even make me change my mind on things. And not get mad at that. That is something, isn't it? I mean, you can, I think, with age, maybe it's an age thing, but I don't think it's only that. But there is something, though, with as you age, though, that you do, at least I have learned, you know, like to round out corners a little bit and check things out, which that doesn't mean like that I will feel like, you know, that I have to take a blind eye to the truth. What I consider for me, and I shouldn't even put it that way because it makes it relativist, but what I consider, I'll use the word anyway, what I believe is a much better word. What I believe is the truth, and if I believe something is the truth, it can't be untruth in that respect. Anyway, let me not get into it too much, but I'm certain you understand where I'm getting at. Is that if somebody, unless, I mean, we're talking about physical violence or something like that, I can accept, you know, that somebody might not see things. It's so often in many things in life, there are some non-negotiables, and other things can have, let's say, there are sets of gray zones. But, you know, even in the non-negotiables, again, I'm not talking about, you know, physical violence or something like that, but even in some of the non-negotiables, you can accept, well, belief of God, for example, for me is a non-negotiable. But I can easily accept that a large part of my friends might not believe at all, might wonder, might question, or might consider me a complete fruitcake because of that belief. But that doesn't mean that I will, you know, slander and go and hate them. Anyway, things that happen in today's world make you wonder sometimes. Yes, so that'll be DC for today's lunch break. Signing off. Oh, vlogger's itch. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.